Lanka. You're here with me, Amaya, on a Friday morning. Finally, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And it's the end of the week. I'm sure everyone's got weekend plans and you're looking forward to the weekend. And it's great to have you on the show with me today this morning at 7:15 a.m. Wow, great. Good on you to wake up and tune into the show. And I'm sure you've got a very busy day ahead of you as well. But, you know, sometimes Friday night especially, or Saturday night maybe, entertainment is what we Sri Lankans look for. And there are so many new ventures that have come up in the entertainment industry these days. But you know what? Nothing can beat those old names. And right now we have with us two legends in the entertainment industry. One who will be joining us a bit later on in the show. But right now I have someone who's been in the entertainment industry in Sri Lanka for the past 25 years with me. And he is none other than Sohan Veerasinghe.
Morning, Amaya.
Morning, Sohan. Welcome
nice to be
show.
Here.
And it's great to have you on Good Morning Sri Lanka. I can't believe that we haven't had you on the show before, but I'm glad I'm here.
And somehow they forgot me.
No, of course they didn't. I'm sure you were very busy.
Maybe.
And they couldn't catch you. But it's great to have you on the show. And now, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure there's no one out there who doesn't know, but you've heard of a little band called Sohan and the Experiments. So this is the leader of the band, and Sohan Veerasinghe is with us in the studio today. All right, so what's your usual Friday morning like?
Friday morning, normally the days that we really work are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The weekends are busy, so Friday morning means sort of get ready to you sort of think of what you're going to do on Friday night. And of course I always have I don't get up very early because I keep watching videos and all that, so I get up around 10 o'clock.
But so we're glad to have you on the show right now. Definitely. And now Sohan and the Experiments are definitely a household name, and you know you have so many reunions. They'll have you as their band. They'll request you especially for a wedding. But you're very, very popular now. But you've also had to start somewhere.
Right.
So where did you start out?
Well, we had started basically from scratch, you know, and then work your way up. There is no easy way to success. A lot of perseverance is needed. And also I think an element of luck, you know. So I had to work my way. I mean, I started with groups like Moonstones, Gabbo and the Breakaways, and then finally ended up having my own group called the Experiments. It's a long journey, but I have no regrets.
Of course. So at what age did you start out, and where did your music, we'll talk about the band, but music as a passion in your life, where did that start out?
That started when I was about 24, you know. And I had to decide actually, because I just passed my attorney's at law exam. So I started working in a finance company. But the love for music was very strong. So both are full-time professions. So I had to make a choice and decide which way I'm going. And I think the passion for music was too great. So I gave up this law career, and everybody thought I was crazy. But
I'm sure they did, because that's what every mother wants their son to be, a doctor, lawyer, or engineer.
Exactly.
And you had already passed your exam. You were a qualified lawyer at that point.
I know. So, but then, anyway, I have no regrets.
And were you supported by your family members at the time when you started up the Experiments?
I think my mother thought I'd gone mad, but my father was quite supportive. And finally they saw it my way when they realized that I was so dedicated to music, you know. They were also a musical family, all of them,
So they played
my
instruments
father
as
used to play the violin, my mother used to play the piano, I had a sister who used to sing, so anyway, there was music right throughout from early age.
So you grew up with music.
That's right.
So, but what was the point where you decided to take music seriously, and who were the people who inspired you to take music seriously as a career? Because if you were going to be a lawyer for a long time till you were 24 years old and then suddenly switched to a career in music, what was the trigger for that switch?
Trigger for that was mainly, at the time we didn't have TV and all that, but we had heard of people like Elvis. I really like Elvis Presley, and then his movies started coming out to Sri Lanka, and we used to go and watch these movies, and there was so much glamour in it, you know. So that's what first made me go full time into music. And then I realized there were groups starting off, then there were groups like the Jetliners, Spitfires. I used to go and see them at beach shows and all that, at concerts. And then I really thought I must get into this, you know. That's how it started.
So it was the glamour that pulled you in?
Yes, I think so, definitely.
And do you still find it glamorous 25 years later?
Yeah, I still find, because I think I get a huge lot of job satisfaction. And then also when you entertain, you can't, sort of evaluate it in terms of money. But, when you perform at concert or a show, and the people are happy with your performance, and you connect with the people, and that puts you on a new high.
Of course. And what are the genres that you go for usually in your music?
Well, I appreciate any type of music, but having a band, I have to sort of be middle of the road. So when we perform, we do a little bit of dance music, a little bit of disco, rock and roll, folk music. We got to do a little bit of everything, and of course the Sri Lankan songs, especially when we go out of Colombo, out of Sri Lanka.
And Baila, I'm sure, plays a major role in that as well.
Wherever you go, wherever there are Sri Lankans, we end up having a huge Baila session at the end,
Definitely.
Yes.
So that's a prerequisite for any party. You need to have the Baila session at the end of the party, and I'm sure that you can deliver very well on that promise. But when you started out, what were the genres you went for, and how has your music developed all
I was
these years?
basically very much in the Western music field, but then I realized if you are doing only Western music, limited to Colombo, but you have to go out of Colombo, perform in places. Actually, Colombo and Kandy is okay, but other places, when you really want to go out, you have to do the Oriental songs, because otherwise you are limited to just the Western speaking crowd, So that's how I started doing Oriental songs, and some of them got very popular. So now we have a very wide repertoire, and I'm quite at home in Colombo or performing in Gaul.
But now, not only Colombo, Gaul and Kandy, you perform a lot abroad as well in foreign countries.
Yes.
So when did that start up? When did you start really touring the world with your music?
Actually, our first break was in the late 80s when we went to Oman. We were doing a four-month contract in Oman at the Intercon there. We ended up performing for 5 years. Of course, we come back every 6 months for a month, but we ended up doing 5 years. That's where we got a lot of experience performing to a total American crowd. There were hardly any Sri Lankans in Oman at that time. We got a lot of experience. I learned a lot about entertaining people. All that that was the start. After coming back from Oman, we started going to Australia, then London, then of course the States, Canada, then all over Singapore, Hong Kong, Bangkok, you name it, we have been there, Maldives. So
it's an extensive list of countries. So I guess this really did open up a lot of doors for you, as opposed to just being a lawyer.
In fact, so many people who I would have never met if it wasn't for music, and they're all my good friends, and thanks to Facebook and Twitter and Skype, we're very much in touch.
Of course, and we love Facebook. Facebook is a great venture, and Good Morning Sri Lanka is on Facebook as well, like us, like our page. All right. So what is the difference you see between a Sri Lankan audience and a more Western audience, Americans?
It's simple. The Western audiences, they really like the Western music, like say rock and roll, jive, if you play a little bit of the waltz, that sort of thing. But when you have an Oriental audience, they go mainly for Sri Lankan music.
Yes, of course.
So of course, you get some people who like both, a little bit of both. So we try to have it balanced, That's why I said, when you have a wide repertoire, and if you're a band leader who can sort of read the crowd, then you must play accordingly, so that you can, because even when you perform at a wedding, you get a very young audience. At the same time, you get the older people, the aunts, the uncles who come. So you got to play music that will suit everybody. End of the day, they should all be happy,
There are so many bands that are coming up now, but do you see that quality in band leaders, how they are able to read their audience? Because I think that really must be something that sets the good bands apart.
The bands that become successful are bands where the band leader should have that ability of judging a crowd, performing to that crowd, not to others. Just because there are a few musicians in the audience, you should not perform for them and do songs which are not heard of by the others. So that's why I say middle of the road stuff, and the band leader has to be really dedicated, and I think to a great extent he has to have a very good personality in this sense. He should be able to handle difficult situations.
The charisma comes into play.
I know, things like that. And also he must make sure that some people get under the influence of liquor, and then the performance can suffer. So these are all the attributes that a good band leader should have,
And these are some things that you've tried to cultivate in yourself. I'm sure you've had most of them anyway inbuilt in your personality.
Yes. I think if you haven't, it's very difficult to keep a band going for 25 years. Very difficult, because but I know some bands, some of the young guys, they don't even drink. Some of them are very dedicated, and they some of them come and listen to groups like us, and they learn a lot. And I know some who even call me and ask for advice.
So let's speak about your family.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
I'm sure you have to have a very supportive family because you're going abroad a
I know.
lot, and they have to be there for you.
Well,
So,
I have.
what's your family like?
Well, my wife, she's actually a travel agent. She is very understanding. She knows that my work takes me out a lot in the night. She's very supportive. I have a son and a daughter. They like music, but they can't really get involved in music because they're involved in others. My daughter is in the States. Son is very much here. He's working for the cricket board.
Yes, and he's actually the
national trainer for the national team. He's the fitness trainer for the national team.
So that's a really great position.
He goes out a lot, with the team. But he's still.
So they've never been interested in music. Your son
they are very interested, but but his job is really full time. He has no time really to get into anything else. But they listen to music. My daughter is an excellent singer, but she's in the States, and my wife says one musician
is enough for the family. All right. But do you wish that your son maybe could pursue a musical career?
Not really, because I feel that he should be allowed to. His passion is physical fitness, nutrition, that sort of thing. So you must allow him to do what he really likes. That's what he really likes. So I don't want to push something onto him which he doesn't. Not that he doesn't like music, but this is what he really likes. So nutrition, and even he says I'm a bad advertisement for him. But anyway, when fitness is concerned, so many people call him and ask for tips and stuff like that. He knows all about what's good for you, what's bad for you, things like that.
But you're a great father who's allowed his children to go after their passion.
Well, I suppose nowadays you have to be like friends to them, and they sort of confide in you, and I think those days they used to fear the parents, but now actually you have to be like friends, I think that's how it is with the young generation.
I'm sure there are so many people that you mentor as well. Now, you mentioned earlier that young people, they come and they listen to you and they try to gain from the experience that you have. So what are the trends that you see in the bands that are up and coming in Sri Lanka at the moment?
The trends, you get some set of bands, they concentrate only on rock music and stuff like that. But I always tell them, if they want to perform at functions and weddings and to sustain the band, you have to do middle of the road music. It's very important they do that. If they want to survive, because in the industry, in fact, if you're just concentrating one sort of, let's say in jazz, then you are confined to just playing in a few hotels. But if you really want to go out, perform abroad, then you got to widen your repertoire. That's why I feel that's what I keep telling them. Learn a little bit of everything if you want to be a band that can go abroad, perform here, do shows, functions. That's what I keep telling them.
Because if you do love jazz, you can still play your music, but you also have to be able to cater to a wide variety of people.
It's difficult to do it full time here.
Definitely.
There isn't enough places. That's the problem. Others, a lot of people who like jazz.
Yeah. But it's just
now,
not as mainstream as other music.
But now, of course, with so many hotels opening up, you never know, because there are so many new hotels coming up. So there'll be somewhere the jazz band could play.
That's true. We'll see in the future. But now, speaking about your other family, the band members, Sohan and the Experiments.
Right.
Now, are they the experiments or the songs are your experiments?
Well, we're experimenting with songs. That's what I keep doing. My group is six piece. Myself and Yasmin is the female vocalist, Yasmin. Then we have Shobi on bass guitar, Neville on lead guitar, Nuan on keyboards, and Marian on drums.
So this is the same group that was there from the inception of Sohan and the Experiments?
No way. Because just like another job, some of them move on, some of them would join another band. So they have been, this lot has been with me for over 10, 12 years.
I see, wow.
Yeah, which is quite good, because I know groups where they don't even stay 3 months together. They keep moving out and go to another band, or there are a lot of personality problems, but I've been able to keep them going for quite some time.
So I'm sure there are lots of stories.